Prince Harry, Duke of Sussex, paid tribute to Sir David Attenborough ahead of his 100th birthday in the form of an essay written for Time magazine. The Duke of Sussex reflected on David Attenborough's decade-long impact on audiences around the world, describing him as more than a broadcaster to generations raised in the United Kingdom. Let's get into it. Thank you so much for clicking on my video, and if you're returning, welcome back to my channel. Today, we're going to talk about the essay that Prince Harry penned for Time magazine in honor of David Attenborough's 100th birthday. But before we get into that, if you haven't already, please don't forget to go ahead and like this video, subscribe by hitting the subscribe button, and feel free to share so that more people can join us. Now, David Attenborough turns 100 on May 8th, so that's today. And as previously reported by People magazine, the celebrated broadcaster is commemorating the milestone with a new documentary titled Life on Earth: Attenborough's Greatest Adventure, which premiered on May 6th. Now, that film revisits Attenborough's groundbreaking wildlife series, Life on Earth, and includes behind-the-scenes commentary about its production, including the now iconic scenes featuring gorillas in Rwanda. David Attenborough has a long, close relationship with the royal family, especially King Charles and William, both known for their conservation work. Anyway, in 2020, Prince William debuted his Earthshot Prize alongside David Attenborough and later reflected on the impact of David's work in a post shared to Instagram in 2025. Now, I won't be sharing that. If you're a fan of William, feel free to go check that out, or on one of those William and Kate positive channels. You won't get that here. Today, we're actually going to talk about the 2026 tribute penned by Prince Harry for Time magazine. Once again, this article is found on time.com. It's also linked in the description box below under sources. The title is At 100, David Attenborough's Voice is a Lesson in Wonder and Planetary Stewardship, penned by Prince Harry, Duke of Sussex. For almost anyone who grew up in the United Kingdom, Sir David Attenborough is more than a broadcaster. He is a secular saint. He is an institutional pillar as essential to the national fabric as a cup of tea. His almost whispers have been the soft soundtrack of the home, a shared experience that turned the weekend nature documentary into a national ritual. For Americans, I imagine, Attenborough shows up not as a personality so much as a standard. He is the voice of nature, the invisible, elegant authority narrating the high-definition spectacles of planet Earth or Blue Planet. Whether you grew up enjoying biscuits or cookies, he is the man who showed you the world through a uniquely spectacular lens. He has earned the world's trust by simply showing us that our environment is worth appreciating. He didn't demand our attention, but drew us in with the wonder of nature all the same. In Attenborough's approach, we find a vital lesson for our time, that wonder is a powerful precursor to protection, reminding us that we may only care for a world that we have first learned to truly value. As we reflect on Attenborough's 100th birthday on May 8th, that's today, I find myself thinking less about the extraordinary scale of his work and more about the moments that revealed his humanity within it. The flashes of amusement when things went wrong, the unmistakable delight when an animal treated him not as a presenter but as part of the environment itself, catching him off guard, interrupting the perfect narration, reminding us that nature cannot be scripted. Those moments always felt important because they revealed something deeper than expertise, genuine reverence and curiosity. And I suspect they brought him the greatest joy of all, those rare moments of feeling completely at one with the natural world, when the creatures he was studying treated him as one of their own, perhaps the purest form of acceptance nature can offer. Attenborough's measured demeanor and lack of any conceivable agenda mean that the alarm bells he sounds signify all the more urgency. When a man who has quite literally seen it all begins to describe the loss of the planet's stability, he isn't being provocative. He is reporting from the front lines of a planet he has known longer and more intimately than almost anyone alive. His most significant contribution has been the systematic dismantling of the notion that climate issues are happening somewhere else. For most people, the natural world is often a destination visited through a screen, safely removed from the pressures of daily life, offering a rare sense of calm, perspective, and escape. Attenborough has made that distance impossible to maintain, and his work has helped us to connect the dots, showing that distant glaciers, forests, and rivers are far more than beautiful landscapes. They are part of the delicate systems upon which our own communities depend. Through his work, We have also come to better understand how forms of modern consumption that appear far removed from nature can nevertheless place enormous strain on the ecosystems sustaining it. This shift in how we view our relationship with nature has hit hardest for the generation that grew up alongside his work. These children did not learn about extinction from dry textbooks. Rather, they watched it happen in high definition and narrated by a voice they trusted, his voice. Now, even as the message has continued to darken, Attenborough's ability to draw in the youth has only deepened. He has bypassed the generational gap by embracing the platforms where young people live, reaching millions through social media and streaming. He doesn't preach or lecture, but shares a perspective that spans a century. To a generation overwhelmed by noise and uncertainty, Attenborough represents credible authenticity. Young people continue to listen to him not just for the spectacle of nature, but for a sense of continuity in an unstable world. From him, they can learn that environmental stewardship is a lifelong commitment rooted in observation and the courage to remain present even when the data is disheartening. Attenborough's authority was accumulated over decades of consistency and a quiet refusal to look away from the truth, even as it became harder to watch. He has provided the global audience with a map of the damage alongside a vision of what remains. For today's decision makers, emulating his lens, a rare blend of childlike wonder and clear-eyed realism is essential to any progress. I suspect that a lifetime spent so closely observing the natural world has deepened in him the very qualities that make us most human: humility, curiosity, patience, and reverence for life itself. By adopting these traits, the younger generation can feel empowered to channel their concerns around the climate into disciplined, purposeful advocacy. At 100, Sir David Attenborough has spent a lifetime delivering us the facts with patience, honesty, and wonder. He has shown us the world in all its brilliance and fragility, and in doing so has left humanity with both a gift and a responsibility. The question now is whether those with the power to act will choose to lead before more of our world, our life support system, is lost. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, that was Prince Harry, Duke of Sussex for Time magazine. Thank you so much for watching the Sharion Sade YouTube channel. I appreciate you watching my content. If you haven't already, please don't forget to go ahead and like this video by hitting the thumbs up. Please don't forget to subscribe by hitting the subscribe button. And don't forget to comment along the way. If you feel so inclined, please don't forget to share so that more people can find us. Once again, thank you so much for watching. Now let's get back to the video.
In this series, I share their stories and reveal why they really are natural curiosities. One is a toad that became the centre of a scientific storm and caused accusations of fakery in the early part of the 20th century. The other is an Australian animal that baffled the greatest thinkers of Victorian Europe and caused many to question whether it was even real. The elephant and the mole rat are curious creatures. They're both extremely wrinkled, starting their young lives looking ancient and remaining that way into old age. Elephants are truly strange creatures, both in looks and behaviour. Aristotle described them as the beast that passeth all others in wit and mind. The chameleon is a truly bizarre creature, both in its behaviour and its appearance, unlike anything else on Earth. So not surprisingly, it's given rise to all kinds of legends and myths, impure and unclean by the law of God.
I first have to start by saying, what a moving tribute. That was absolutely beautifully written and beautifully said. When I read that, I literally felt the reverence leaping off the page. And I felt like he did such a great job of illustrating not only his personal and very deep respect for Sir David Attenborough, but he perfectly illustrated his impact on the world, and not just in the UK. I felt like he did a really great job of illustrating that through the metaphor of the biscuits versus the cookies. I thought that was very funny, but that's just another point of Prince Harry's writing and his tributes and his speeches. He really does bring in humor, and he does a really great job of using metaphors and humor and also personal opinion, but personal impact to illustrate his point. And that felt deeply personal. And I appreciate that he shared that, especially with Time magazine. So that is now a global tribute. I think that was such a beautiful way to honor someone who meant so much to him, but millions of others, and also appreciate his work. Something I noted in the tribute was Prince Harry made it very clear to not only highlight the impact and the importance of the work then and now, and how it will only continue to be more important, but He also illustrated Sir David Attenborough's humanity and his personal individual qualities as a person, just being a genuinely good person with honor, integrity, and he's earned all of the respect on a human level and from a professional standpoint that he receives globally. And who better to state that than Prince Harry, one of the most respected and honorable individuals in the world? So I thought that was a beautiful tribute, very funny with the cookies versus the biscuits. And I appreciate that he included us Americans because he genuinely didn't have to. He's a British royal, and he absolutely could have just kept it centralized to his homeland. And I appreciated that he included America. Y'all know I said he is the American prince. He's my personal royalty here in the US. And before anyone gets mad at me again, that's a joke. I don't want the US to have royalty or a monarchy. It's a joke. Relax, take a beat. But anyway, I thought that was a beautiful tribute, and I wanted to include some of the clips that I found from, I think it's Curious World or Curious Planet, some of those clips that I got from Prime. And actually, I didn't realize this, but Amazon Prime has almost every show that Sir David Attenborough has hosted. So if you want to go check it out, feel free. Actually, I got wrapped up in the episodes. This video took me about an hour longer than it was supposed to, because he had an episode about platypuses and platypoi. I don't know. But no, I'm joking. But the platypus is my favorite animal. One of my favorite animals, alongside the flamingo and the seahorse. And so when I was watching the platypus episode, I realized I don't know a lot about the platypus. I just think they are very cool. I just think they just seem like something a kid would draw, trying to draw a duck from memory, if that makes sense. So I've always found them to be so intriguing. And when I was little, in elementary school, they took us to this National Wildlife Museum, and we were able to interact with a lot of the animals and things like that. And one of the animals that they had that they were showing us was a platypus. And from the moment they said, "Do not touch," I was hooked. I loved that animal so much. I was completely intrigued, and I haven't even learned that many facts about them. I've just always had such an interest and curiosity about them. So I got wrapped up in the platypus episode, and I linked that in the description box below because it was very good. But I also have to say this. I know I'm participating in honoring Sir David Attenborough, and this is absolutely not a time to criticize the person we're honoring, but I just have to say this, and I'm going to keep it real. While I congratulate him on all of the work he's done, and I want to honor him on his 100th birthday, which is today, I just got to point out, he did not need to read mole rats or elephants the way he did. When I was watching that, not only was he just going in on the mole rat's little wrinkled skin, but then he was going in on the elephant's little hard skin. And then not only that, the way he came at lizards and was it chameleons? I said, no, wait a minute. Hold on. What did they do to you? Did one of them delay you get into the studio today? Was it crossing the street too slow? What's the personal beef? But I was cracking up. I was watching that episode and I was like, no, wait a minute. I didn't realize he was so witty. It's been a long time. But when I was little, I'll share a little memory. When I was younger, one of my favorite things to do was watch all of the wildlife shows. I loved wildlife anything. And while I wasn't super familiar with Sir David Attenborough, I did watch some of his programs growing up. The ones that we got here in the US, which I don't know about where you were, but at that time I was in East Texas and we didn't get that many. But the ones I did get, I really enjoyed, along with the National Geographic Channel. And at the time, I think it was called Animal Planet. And I used to watch all of those. So I used to love animals. I was completely intrigued. So I am familiar with him, but it was really nice to revisit some of his shows as an adult. I was completely consumed. And then finally, I was like, well, hold on. I'm supposed to be doing a video today. I can't get wrapped up in this, because if I had forgotten, I would have been here all day. I was literally sitting at my desk. I was supposed to be pulling clips for y'all. I was sitting at my desk with my feet propped up, eating some popcorn. And I said, girl, get back to work. So I'm going to resume that as soon as we finish this. So let me hit the road. Anyway, that is all I have for y'all today. But before we go, if you can light up the comment section or the live chat, depending on which one you're in right now, if you watch during the live premiere. But if you are familiar with Sir David Attenborough, what is the program that you became familiar with him in? What is your favorite program? And is there any kind of memory, or did you have an interaction or meet him at any point? Feel free to share that in the comments below or in the live chat. So that is all I have for y'all today. Again, excellent tribute, Prince Harry. Beautiful way with words, as always. It's always great to see him continue to exercise his skill of speeches and speech writing. I told y'all he's one of the best public speakers. I think one of the things that shocked me the most in Spare, outside of Todger Tales, one of the things that shocked me the most in Spares was finding out how much anxiety he had early in his adult life with giving speeches. Going back and watching, I can kind of see it, like the red splotches on his cheeks and kind of the fumbling with his hands. But yeah, I didn't realize that, because ever since he's kind of been in the public eye as an adult, especially in relation to Invictus games, he's always just seemed so composed, and he's always had such a great way with words and his delivery. He knows how to accentuate the point, make jokes, but keep it fluid. He's always been really good about giving speeches and using spoken word to illustrate his feelings and properly convey that to the audience. He's always been good at that, as far as I'm concerned, since I've started watching him. And so when I read Spare, finding out that was a point of anxiety early on, to the point of him almost having a panic attack at times, I completely shocked. He has done such a wonderful job of honing in on that and surpassing it, overcoming it. So his use of speeches, but also just spoken word, has always impressed me. And this is yet another example. What a beautiful, beautiful tribute. Y'all didn't come here for me to ramble. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you haven't already, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Patreon, y'all have a new video that went up yesterday. And members, y'all also have a new video that went up yesterday. Enjoy. Thanks for watching, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye.